Mm-mm-mm. Well, is there anybody up out there right now? Is there anybody up? Am I up all by myself? Hmm. Let us investigate and see what's going on this morning. Okay, right? There's the music. There we go. hmm Well, it's time to rise and shine, people. Good morning. It is another day, one more day that we're on top of the ground and the ground's not on top of us. I'd say that's something worth celebrating on this day. What say you? I believe I'm right. Good morning. It is Decisions 2.0. That's right. The reason why we call it that because everything we do requires us to make a decision. And even when we don't make the decision, well, we just made the decision. Okay? And as your eyes then shine this morning, the weather outside is kind of okay. 75 degrees outside in the city of Montgomery this morning. The forecast for the rest of the day goes as follows. A 16% chance of rain today. High today at 92 degrees. That's still pretty good. On tonight, a 10% chance of precipitation. A few clouds here and there. Low of 74. Winds light and variable. On tomorrow, I like that word tomorrow. On tomorrow, what's it say? Yeah. 24% chance of rain. Intervals of clouds and sunshine. Yeah, a little bit hot, but that's okay. High up 93 degrees on tomorrow. That's what the weatherman said. But as you rise and shine this morning, it is 75 degrees in the capital city of Alabama. And it's a great day. An outstanding day to be alive. Would you not agree? Me too. Don't forget, next up, of course, it is our daily bread, a word from on high. It'll change your perspective or give you a new one. But either way, it's good for the soul. Okay, good for the soul. So we'll be back. Hang loose, and we shall return right after this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I know you know. I know you know what I mean. Yeah, we good. We'll be right back.
In the quiet of the morning light, hands raised high in pure delight, thankful whispers in a gentle breeze, grateful heart with such sweet
Time to rise and shine if you can.
Thank you, Lord, for every breath I take, for the love that...
Welcome to today's encouragement from Our Daily Bread. Today's reading, titled Our Reason for Joy, was written by So-She Dixon. When the school year began, 14-year-old CJ would hop off the bus every afternoon and dance down his driveway. His mom recorded and shared videos of CJ's after-school boogie time. He danced because he enjoyed life and making people happy with every move. One day, 2 garbage collectors took time out of their busy work schedule to stomp, spin, and sway with the young boy who inspires others to dance with him. This trio demonstrates the power of sincere and infectious joy. The writer of Psalm 149 describes the original source of enduring and unconditional joy, God. The psalmist encourages God's people to join together and sing to the Lord a new song. He invites Israel to rejoice in their Maker and be glad in their King. He calls us to worship him with dancing and music. Why? Because the Lord takes delight in his people. He crowns the humble with victory. Our adoring Father created us and sustains the universe. He delights in us just because we're his beloved children. He designed us, knows us, and invites us into a personal relationship with him. What an honor! Our loving and living God is our reason for everlasting joy. We can rejoice in the gift of his constant presence and be grateful for every day our Maker has given us. Today's Our Daily Bread devotional scripture reading is from Psalm 149, verses 1 through 5. Praise the Lord. Sing to the Lord a new song, his praise in the assembly of his faithful people. Let Israel rejoice in their Maker. Let the people of Zion be glad in their King. Let them praise his name with dancing and make music to him with timbrel and harp. For the Lord takes delight in his people. He crowns the humble with victory. Let his faithful people rejoice in his honor and sing for joy on their beds. Let's pray. Lord, thank you for loving us, delighting in us, and knowing us. May the joy of knowing you be evident in us, causing others to celebrate your goodness along with us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Today's encouragement was provided by Our Daily Bread Ministries.
And good morning, Montgomery. How's everybody doing? Doing pretty good. Pretty good. All right, then. Now that you're awake, ready to get this day started, let us dive in. Hey, good morning, young man.
Get up. You are still here, time to get busy living. Get up. You are still here, time to get busy living.
That's right. Time to get up. Time to get busy living.
You are still here, time to get busy living.
With any conversations or anything, let us tell you about a sponsor of our show, okay? Which is, that's right, One Stop Wireless, located at the corner of Atlanta Highway and Coliseum Boulevard. If you need a cell phone, right, or the one you got just is not becoming to you, you need to be going to them. Okay, they got their prices are great. You can your internet service on your phone. The service is, you can get it from $25 to $30 a month. Unlimited data, unlimited talk and text, and good people. Local company owned by local people. I got nothing against the big wigs, but sooner or later, we got to support the people that support us. Of course, and that would be One Stop Wireless right on the mobile phone. You can also pay bills there. You can also pay like the light bill. Well, I know you can pay your gas bill there and maybe a couple other bills there, but you can ask them that when you call them. 320-2988. 320-2988. Atlanta, right there on the corner of Atlanta Highway and Coliseum Boulevard, right in the same building where the there's a gas station right there, Shell gas station right there. Of course, there's Shell gas station all over town. But anyway, right there, good people, outstanding people. I took their phone all the way to Indiana with me years ago, and never dropped the call, never went any place. I'm going up the freeway, lost, don't know where I'm going, up 75, 85, 65. I'm all on these wrong highways, but my phone kept on going. It kept on going, okay? Like Energizer battery, right? Okay, it kept on going, okay? So never missed anything. Please go down there and tell them they got Apples, they have Samsungs, they got the newest and the latest, and some of the older and the greatest phones down there. Go down there and they'll probably be anybody's price in town. But all I can tell you is that they're good folks, they're good people, and they live right in the communities. Every year they help me with Helping Hands. They give money back to this community, okay? Like a lot of people do. And so if you will, just tell them you heard about them. If you don't need a phone right now, just call them up, tell them you heard about them. And the next time you need a telephone, you're going to certainly give them some serious consideration because I told you about it, okay? That number again is 320-2988, 334-320-2988, right on the corner of Atlanta Highway and Coliseum Boulevard. You can't miss it. You just cannot miss them. They are there. Okay, they're there, and they're great people. I'm just telling you, I love going in there. I go in there sometimes when I don't even have to go in there just to see how they're doing. Okay, so One Stop Wireless, and it's a bill pay center. So you got to pay your light bill, your gas bill, your whatever. You can pay that while you're there too. They take care of all that for you. Okay? I'm just saying, just because you don't have a car or something like that, or you live too far out to go down there, So. Okay, what's that number? What's that name again? One Stop Wireless and Pay Center and more. Mobile phone store. Also, they do have a couple of free phones. So if you just don't have any money, now it's not going to be the Apple 17, Apple 16, none of that stuff. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a telephone, hey, any phone is good. And they every once in a while they do got a couple of free phones that give to you there. You have to meet certain requirements in order to get it, but you can get one. Okay, so give them a call again, 334-320-2988. That is One Stop Wireless. You can't beat them, right? Besides that, I got to find a way to eat, so that's the way I do it. Anyway, even if you don't need a phone, please call them up and tell them you heard about them, so they know that I'm doing my level best to make sure that we all stay in business. Okay, I'm just saying, you might want to tell them that for me. Help me out here. All right, One Stop Wireless, and it's the nicest people you want to meet. I'm telling you, I can't say enough about them. I know we want to talk about other things, but this is important because these are local people trying to because when the big guys, whenever they decide to pull up stakes and leave town, they don't give a crap about you. These people do. And besides that, they always give into helping hands. So, you know what I'm saying? I've been doing that now for 8-9 years. Let's keep it up. Let's support the people who support us, okay, locally. Okay, I'm just saying. Got nothing against anybody, but local first. All right? One Stop Wireless. All right, and one more sponsor. I got them, and sometimes I forget to tell you guys about them, but my mind is sometimes it don't be working. Okay, it don't be working sometimes, but I want you to know it's working today. Okay, my mind is on par today. So my other sponsor this morning will be, of course, Montgomery Computer Services, which is located, okay, not that far from you. Okay, I don't know what happened to my man. It all left me. What happened? What happened? Anyway, you need to go down there and excuse me, wrong one. My bad. Okay, now, well, Montgomery Computer Services located on Atlanta Highway. What is that? I know. I've been going down there so long that I don't remember where they are actually. I don't know the physical address, but it is on Atlanta Highway 2, right on top of the hill with where HealthWise Food is, Progressive Insurance, and things like that. People of that nature. As a matter of fact, what am I talking about? I don't know. I know it. I'm down there all the time. I almost live down there. The guy who runs the place is Tyler Stewart, former United States Army Airborne Ranger, a true Airborne Ranger, not one that plays one on TV, a real one. Afghanistan, Kabul. I mean, this guy's been everywhere. But he came back home after being in New York. Though I'd come home too. Okay, but anyway, don't get to see him. Their address, of course, is 5141 Atlanta Highway. 277-6902 is their number. Okay, I'm just saying you might want to take that in consideration if you find yourself in need of some computer work. Okay, some computer work, because they do a great job of working on your computer. And you know something else? This is probably one of the few times in the industry that it's time to trade in your old computer for another computer. There's no more upgrading old computers in order to make them Windows 11 compatible. So you might want to call these guys up, whether it's a laptop, a desktop. If you got old software you're trying to get to work, you can't seem to get it to work, call those guys. Call Tyler down there, and he probably can help you. Okay, help you. You got AI project. We even got a guy in there now that's an AI expert. AI expert. And we got Gavin. Gavin is a youngster out there. Not 22. Yeah, good guy. All these guys are great. Crystal handles the show. She's like the sergeant mate, the first sergeant of the place down there. So Crystal's down there, you can see her. And again, their number is 277-6902. If you don't need them right now, put it in your phone. 277-6902. And there's Montgomery Computer Services. These guys are great. They've been in business almost 20 years. Even have me working for them a little bit there. Okay, so help them out. Let's go down and see them. Stop trying to make these 15-year-old computers work. They will no longer work with the new operating systems. Okay, you can't. And feel free to ask me a question about a computer. I know a little bit. Feel free to call anytime up here when I'm on the air and ask me a question. I'll see if I can help you. And if I can't, I'll get Tyler on the line and he'll help you. Okay, so I can reach out and touch them out. Okay, so those are our sponsors. One Stop Wireless, okay, located on the corner of Atlanta Highway and Coliseum Boulevard. and Montgomery Computer Services, 277-6902, 5141 Atlanta Highway, 277-6902. Yeah, I'm somewhat of a computer junkie. I like them. You know, they're pretty good. Keeps me out of trouble. Good morning there, Frank. And good morning, Dr. Joe, and all the other people ready. Yeah, what y'all want to talk about? I know what you want to talk about today. I know. Besides Jackson Hospital, thinking about closing again after we give them all that money. The other thing we want to talk about is the thing that happened yesterday with this Kamalo. What's his name? Kamalo. Well, whatever his name was. Is whatever his name is. Kamalo Anthony, I think it's his name. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about, the guy, the kid who got convicted yesterday, as a matter of fact, of killing someone. You know, and I have seen all over this country people making excuses. Okay, yes, he's a young man, 17 years old. But you know what? It is about time that 17-year-olds realize that they're almost grown, and you just can't rely on the government to give you a break because you happen to be 17. And I personally am glad to see it. I'm glad to see it. You know, when you take people's life, it doesn't make any difference what age you are. You took someone's life. I've never seen so many people making excuses. Listen, he knew what he was doing. He probably didn't understand the consequences of what he was doing. But, and you know what? And people are trying to make this all a color thing. This has got nothing to do with color at all. As a matter of fact, the only people who brought it up are the people who want to make allowances for his behavior. Listen, I feel so sorry for him. I do. I feel two families, okay? Two families have lost their kids, okay? One lost it to death, and the other family lost theirs to prison. If he's blessed, if he's lucky, they give him 35 years. I thought they were going to give him life. But you know what? He can still get out. He'll be about 50 years old, you know. But again, he only got 35 years. And I don't think he can come up for parole way before that 35-year sentence is up, I believe. I think you got to spend, 10%, 15% of the time in jail, I think. I don't really know. Haven't been there yet. And I use that word quite, deliberately yet. But anyway, we can talk about that if you want. And we got other things to talk about. Exactly. So what's going on there, Simply Days?
He can go for parole board 15 years, and he keeps his nose clean and doesn't get any trouble and continues his studies and, get a degree and all that. But he can come up in 15. So but,
the
thing about the thing about it, I was listening to it on Court TV, and the people on the Court TV, the panel were saying, well, they should have put him on and let him plead his case before they, when they were sentencing him and all this, and then they were saying that the defense attorney should have done this and should have done that. But I mean, bottom line is, he could have pulled that box cutter out, showed it to him, threatened him with it, menaced him with it, but he made the decision to stick it in him. And so, as you say, this show talks about those decisions. He made a decision.
Yes.
That he's going to have to live with for at least 15 years. But the thing about it is, Mayor, two white guys in this country, in this world, get into a fight, one gets killed, CNN, news media, all the talking heads don't show up. Two black guys in Montgomery, in Birmingham, all over this world get into a fight and one gets killed. Does the news media show up? No. If one of them is gay, then they'll show up because they say that's a hate crime. But if it's straight up, black on black, white on white, they're not going to show up. They don't care. But if you throw the race card in there
Or the gay card.
or the gay card,
Or the gay card. Yeah.
they all going to show up. Speaking of Pride, are you going to do anything special for Pride Week?
I'm going to be proud that I don't have to celebrate that week.
This month? This month, it's a whole month. I mean, you could at least give it a week.
Listen. I'll let them do them, and I'll do me, and I'm just gonna, keep my nose clean, and all those people who are prideful that they're prideful. Hey, so be it. So be it. I'm not.
So you're not going to fly a rainbow flag in honor of them?
No, I'm not. And I want to congratulate Pete Hegseth for getting rid of that crap too in the military. Our job in the military is not to worry about who's bending us over. It's about who we've been over on the battlefield. Not what you do in your private business is your business. I don't want to hear about it. I don't care nothing about it. Don't care. I'll tell you what. I won't tell you what I do in private. And you don't got to tell me what you do in private. So
since how you're not going to do any things special, I was going to recommend that you could have as a guest the man, and he's the first trans man that transitioned into a woman.
Yeah.
He's about 6'2", 6'3", somewhere in that range. But anyway,
right.
He's the first man to be on the cover of Time.
Okay, that's still he's still a man. Yeah,
it's still a man. He's a black guy out of Mobile.
Oh Lord,
that went to Birmingham, studied in a prestigious art school, and then went to New York, and now. If you look at that cat, you can see that big face. You can see them long, big hands and big feet.
And big feet, yeah.
But he's still a man, but he is one of the top models in the world now.
Okay.
Right here.
Yeah.
Right here from Alabama, Mobile, Alabama. Been on the cover of Time. You need to interview him on your radio or her on your radio.
Now listen, on
your hot podcast.
I understand that there are people who contribute lots to our society, and they should be recognized. There's no doubt about it. There are people who are far more accomplished than I am, who I would gladly love to talk to. But I got to tell you, that's not high on my radar. And the guy whose feet and hands are bigger than mine calling himself a woman. So, and here's another thing about some of these guys. They don't ever cut off the dangling. Okay. They don't want to be a woman that bad. So, like who's the white guy that started all this stuff? Jenner. Okay.
Jenner, yeah.
Yeah, he still got his stuff, his package. So he don't want to be a woman that bad. Okay, I'm just saying.
Well, he's just saving it for the right one that may take him back over the other side.
Yeah, okay. Well, I understand that. Yeah. Again, there's nothing any human being can say to me that make me ever think in this lifetime that a male can turn himself into a female. God's a hell of a lot smarter than that. Okay, so we just gonna leave them alone. But then again, let me tell you what I don't believe that people should be humiliated in the street. It's a mental disease, and we should feel sorry for them and stuff like that. But yeah, you shouldn't misuse people and stuff like that. But but that's about all the sympathy I'm giving. I just think it's crazy, But then again, I woke up this morning and I went down to the bank, told them I was a millionaire, and could I have like $1 million to take to go to lunch? And they look at me like I was crazy. I said, yeah, but I'm that's what I feel like. Okay, and they asked me to leave the bank. You know what I mean? So,
well, changing gears. Yeah. Did you see where Dr. Martin Luther King's relative niece testified before Congress?
Bernice?
she's a doctor.
Right. And what they
Yeah,
they've been testifying for years. What they testifying for now?
she's testifying against the Southern Poverty Law Center, and she's saying they were a scam, and they dishonored her father's name. She was unloading on them.
Well, I never had. I never had, and I did not admire people who make their living bringing up misery every day. Nothing's good. It's all bad. Black folks and white folks don't get together, and I understand where we used to be. Like I told people, we're a great country. We're just not perfect. And unfortunately, I think every country in the world can be identified the same. Maybe a great country, but they're not perfect. But us, we were one of the best.
Are you familiar with the term boogeyman?
Yeah. And that's what they do.
All those movies they made back in the 70s and 80s, they had a boogeyman in them.
Oh yeah.
And they couldn't kill off the boogeyman because if they did, what would happen?
Well, nobody watched the movie.
Well, they couldn't have another movie. They couldn't have a sequel to it. They couldn't have another boogeyman.
Exactly.
So see, if the Southern Poverty Law Center killed off the boogeyman, then nobody wanted to donate any more money.
I'm always, and I hope I put this the right way, I'm always skeptical of people that are white that act like they care so much about what happens to black people. I'm always skeptical of that. Listen, take care of your own people in your own circumference, and let other people take care of their folks in their circumference. I just always, and most of them are liberals. That just always. Or you don't know what we go through. You don't know what my mother went through. Let my mom tell her own story. Let my dad. Let them tell their own story. You don't know. But they're trying to get paid off selling misery, like a lot of people are. And I think the SPLC pretty much made money on selling misery.
Well, blood sells, misery sells. Is the old average where they're putting a new street light up, that's not going to sell.
Yeah.
But
it bleeds.
Two white guys get into a fight and one gets killed, that ain't going to sell. Two black guys get into a fight and one gets killed, that's not going to sell.
Nothing to see here. Yeah, that's true.
Nope. Hey, when you talk about Jackson's Hospital, what the mayor said, I wonder why when St. Margaret's closed downtown, Humana bought it and tried to make a go of it. And then were you here then?
No, I wasn't, but I heard about it right there. I think that's where the Alabama Aaliyah office is now, I believe.
Yeah, the building sat vacant for a long time, and then they tried to sell it to the city, and the city was going to do what they did out there at the old mall and turn it into something, but they couldn't. Emory wasn't going to pay them what they wanted to pay for it. But I just wonder why there wasn't all the. I was here. I know what went on. I saw it. What went on? Why? There wasn't all the concern and everybody wanting to bail them out that they're doing Jackson's.
Well, I mean, they do need it more than the hospital than what they have. But what my thing is that, and here's where I think the mayor and the county commission, that hospital services lots of people, not only in Montgomery, but Prattville, Millbrook. Why don't we ask them to pony up some money to help them out?
Close to 50% of the patients that go there come from other areas, not city of Montgomery.
Right. So it seems to me they should ask them the surrounding cities to to pony up and help out a little bit here, because those people will be coming down 65 or 85, whichever one they come down, and they'll be here trying to get some service, which is good, but let them pay some of the bill. And Blue Cross, and if I'm the governor, you know what? Okay, if you cannot pay the same amount of fees to Jackson like you do everybody, the law should be, if it's the same procedure, it ought to be the same reimbursement. It should be. I mean, this doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, so if you're on the hood side of town, you don't get the same reimbursement as you get if you go out east. Okay, the governor should
But
say,
you
get the hell out of town.
well, yeah, but I mean, the governor can't. That's a private entity. All that stuff is private. Blue Cross is private. It doesn't have anything to do with the government. Doesn't
Right, but they got a
that unless
license.
they're
But they do have a license to do business in the state of Alabama, and they are a corporation in the state of Alabama. And so Alabama, let's play hardball. Take away their license to do business.
well, it's just like the Alabama Power Company. The governor can't do anything about that. I mean, they can put political pressure on them to lower the rates, but I mean, Jackson, if that was a solid deal,
Mm-hmm.
don't you think Baptist Health and other, I mean, there other hospitals across the country, large hospitals, would purchase that and fix it up, make it. There's something going on that we don't know, that it's hemorrhaging, and they're either going to have to, the county or the state, city, somebody's going to have to purchase it and make it a charitable hospital and write it off on their budget every year.
Right.
But you can't just keep pouring. You can't just keep pouring money. It's hemorrhaging, and all you're doing is putting Band-Aids on it.
But I guess I'm trying to figure out where's the money? I mean, the city is giving 22 million. The county's giving. I mean, is the money coming? Is the issue that people keep coming over there without insurance or without any way to pay for it, or Blue Cross Blue Shield is just not giving the hospital what they give other hospitals in reimbursement, which is what my understanding.
Well, it's a combination of that, and then it's a combination. They're having to bring in, just like Baptist is having to bring in flying doctors from other states. They're having to bring in traveling nurses. Well, you have to pay those people more.
But don't we have isn't Troy University one of the premier schools for nurses in the state of Alabama?
Well, you got AUM, you got Troy, but those people are going elsewhere. They're going elsewhere.
Well, man, we ought to figure out why they're going elsewhere. I mean, sick is sick.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, that is why you are the mayor.
That's true. Let's find out why they leave. Because sick people here are the same sick people there, someplace else.
It's the same reason that Blunt Strange is threatening to move. It's the same reason that Alpha, unless the city gave them money, was going to move. Therein lies the question. Have a good day, Mayor.
All right, appreciate it. Yeah, again, whether you're a nurse in Montgomery or a nurse in Tuscaloosa, nurse in Dothan, Troy, or Chicago, sick people are sick people. Now, if we are paying our people way below what they should be paid, then I can kind of understand that, I guess. But I don't understand it. Yeah, Don.
Let me try to help you understand, because you do have a trouble understanding.
I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Blue Cross Blue Shield and Jackson Hospital negotiate the prices. They accept the price that they offer. They could say, we're not going to take that insurance, but it's negotiated. Now, you came up with a great idea. Take their license away. You think that's a good one?
Well, if they're going to close it down anyway.
Well, no, I'm talking about, you said take the license away from the insurance company.
Well, yeah. Well, if they can't.
You like that, right?
Well, they can't.
Then what are you going to do? What are you going to put out over there at the Baptist?
Well, again.
What insurance you going to put up to pay over Baptist?
Okay, now I will.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Well, and I agree with you. I agree.
And the prices are negotiated. You can't keep putting out free care over there with nobody paying.
Mm-hmm. And again, that's what I asked.
Here's what I really called about.
Yeah.
For Reverend Willie Durham to pair Rittenhouse with this young kid who wasn't doing a damn thing but in a tent, and a black kid comes in there with intent to cause problems. He's asked 16 times to leave the tent. It's a private tent. It's for you keep your private stuff and stuff. They were black kids that testified against that's Carmelo. You know, but for Willie Durham, compare those two is absolutely ridiculous. This guy's got his hand in a backpack with a knife, ready to stick it in his chest. You realize how hard it is to stick a knife all the way into someone's heart?
Yeah,
he's a murderer. But you know what the good news is?
What's that?
Here's the good news: there's a tradition in Montgomery. If you kill somebody, there's a good chance you can come out and be a reverend. He might even be able to go over to the Camellia Sisters Church and be a preacher once he gets out. But here's what's funny: you missed the whole thing on Southern Poverty Law Center.
Okay.
These are the people that claim that they busted the Klan, right?
Right.
They busted them so damn bad, they're having to pay for the wood for the crosses and the materials to burn now. That's how bad they busted them out. There's one woman over there that works for SLPC, whatever, who's living with one of the guys that claims to be part of the Aryan Nation. She's funneled $1 million to him. You know, it's such a pathetic group of people. They don't even spend $1 million on loss care, and all they do is come up with crap to accuse people of hate crime. They're the only one full of hate. But Willie Durham, you're pathetic to compare Rittenhouse with this kid that was murdered, who didn't do a damn thing and had black friends come and testify. The defense even put up a witness that turned around and said it was all Camilla Anthony's aggression that caused the problem. But you go ahead, Willie. Keep your old racist crap to yourself.
Alrighty then. Okay then. Well, it's but anyway, it's a great day to be alive. And again, but I listen. I just got a hard time figuring out why race is part of this. This has got nothing to do with race. The young man was wrong, and again, I feel so sorry for him. His mother at the trial yesterday, when they're getting ready to sentence him, said give him mercy. And I don't have any problem with that either, but you still got to pay for what you did. Out of all the crimes that you can do in this life, out of all the crimes, stealing, robbing, cheating, all the crimes you can do, the worst of all of them is taking another person's life. You cannot get it back. You cannot give that young man. You cannot give that young man his life back. As far as I'm concerned, it is the worst crime known to mankind. That's why I'm against this abortion crap. We're killing people. It's the worst crime. And I don't know what you can say to justify it. I just, unless it's self-defense, nah. Reverend.
Hey, Kim.
Yes, sir.
So, well, make sure I get this straight. You said murder is the worst thing that can happen, right?
In my mind, yeah, it's the worst thing you can do to somebody. Kill people.
Okay. But y'all was just talking about another killer, Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm listening at you.
You have
Did
a right.
He murder somebody?
No, he didn't murder. He was protecting people.
No. Did somebody get killed?
Oh, somebody may have gotten killed. But there's a difference between murder and killing.
Hold on, wait. Was his gun responsible for that person's demise?
Yeah. That person.
Okay, so that makes him a killer, right?
That person was responsible by
that makes him a killer,
okay, right? You remember the Rittenhouse? You remember why he shot?
I wasn't there, but that's not the question. I just asked you, was he a killer?
Well, he was. There's a difference between.
So the answer is yes. Let me move on to my next point.
Well, no, wait.
Because I'm not gonna let you clean it. I'm not gonna let you make it look good. So my next thing is, I'm not mad. I don't think black people are mad with the verdict. Mm-hmm. We're more so not happy with the playing field. So, like I told you before, you're a Constitution man, right?
I believe in it. Yes.
Okay. Was Kyle Rittenhouse constitutional rights violated?
No.
Not Kyle. I'm sorry, Carmelo. Was it violated? not a hard question.
Well, I know where you're going with this, and
of course you do.
I don't think
I'm going there with your crowd.
I don't think so.
Okay, so he's supposed to be judged by some of his peers. I didn't say all. Right?
But his peers are not old enough to be on.
Hold on, wait.
To be on
but you can have a couple of folks that look like that resemble him, right?
Mm-hmm.
That were not on the bench, were they?
No,
right.
No.
And you know what? Another thing we have to look at, like I said, I'm not disputing the fact he murdered the guy. We're looking at the grounds. So let's put that right there where that needs to be. Secondly, the playing field was not fair. See, just like Greg Gunn, and I'm not mad that Greg Gunn's attorneys got a change of venue because his name was assassinated before the trial even started. Well, Carmelo experienced the same thing. His name was assassinated before the trial could even start. So don't you think the judge wanted to be fair? They should have gave him a change of venue.
Now, listen, I really don't. Let me put it this way.
It's just a yes or no. I'm not asking complicated questions.
And that's probably if I could find anything wrong, you got me there. Maybe a change of venue at least would have given the appearance of totally fair trial.
I agree.
I agree. And I will give you that one. Yeah.
So it should have been a change of venue. It should have been a better selection of jurors. And then nobody wouldn't have been able to say a mumbling word. Well, in that order. I mean, because look, like I've told you before, there is a problem with black and white people. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There is a problem. When stuff happens and it looks like this is what they call it. They don't, you don't want them to throw the racist card out. Tell you what, quit making it appear to look racist.
I would imagine the judge of that thing would have, or his attorney should have, and they raised a lot of money for him. So evidently they didn't buy the best attorney. But at the end of the day, Pastor Knight,
it's not even about a best attorney because you have a judge sitting on the bench, right?
Right, but if it was never
who's sworn to uphold
the law,
the Constitution and the law, right?
Right. But there's nothing in the Constitution about change of venue.
I mean, look, Doc, especially with them pictures surfacing with the man being friends with the dad and all that. I don't know if that's AI or what. I don't know, but I would say this right here. I'd say this right here. They shot it to him. They screwed him. Like I told you. Do you, and I ask you again, feel free not to answer. Do you think that Aaron Cody Smith would have got the same verdict if his trial took place in Montgomery, where the crime was committed? Do you honestly think that he would have gotten a fair verdict? That's just a simple yes or no.
But he was found guilty.
Well, hold on. Not for the crime he did, but for a lesser charge. But the question is, do you think it would have been the same thing if it had happened here in Montgomery?
Well, because of
don't even answer.
Because of the political pressure, I would agree he'd have been treated worse here.
Okay, now, and we could say it probably would have been primarily because of his race, right?
Yeah, because we make everything race. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so the shoe was on the other foot, and it happens in another town. But this is just not a cop. It's a black guy killing a white guy this time. And he's slumped. We couldn't put Aaron Cody in front of a jury of majority black or 50% black. They took him somewhere where his peers were in the jury box, and they found him guilty. So everybody, it was cool. I'm simply saying the same thing could have happened with Carmelo. Keep in mind, we're a very sympathetic group of people. I've heard a lot of lies about this case by people saying they couldn't convict him. Good and see well. You can't even talk about the nature of a case when being selected for jury duty.
Yeah.
So we knew that was a lie.
Well. Again, listen. This is what was written in the paper down there that a lot of the black jurors.
It was a lie, and you knew it.
Well, no,
they couldn't have said nothing like that because you're not allowed to talk.
Wait a minute. This is before they were a juror. This was the pool, the juror pool. These are where
Kevin, they can't even talk like that, man. I'm not accepting
I don't know.
That, in the words of Trump.
Yeah, I'm not
that's fake news.
Okay.
But I'll say this. Okay. I'll say this and I'll slide off. Mm-hmm. It was the image that they gave America. They gave on this case.
But that doesn't.
It's not the verdict.
Yeah.
It's not the verdict. It was the playing field.
So you had to find some reason to disagree because at the end of the day, a young man was killed. He was murdered.
No. I just I want to be fair, just like they were fair to Greg Gunn, just like they were fair to Kyrie. I'll do you another one. The one that the trial, the guy that killed the cop down here in Montgomery some years back, right? Mm-hmm. He was tried here and he was found guilty here. Guess what color people found him guilty?
Well, probably black.
It was a jury of his peers.
Right.
I say that to say that. Said that to say this. We can be fair. Stop labeling us to be unfair. We can be fair, but they just didn't want to give that boy a chance, and they didn't, and they screwed him. And they just.
But no, he screwed himself. He killed a man.
I'm not saying he didn't kill a person, but he's still entitled to a fair trial. There's nothing fair about that. It was definitely speeding, but it wasn't fair.
They didn't give him the death penalty or life without parole. I
wouldn't be surprised. Look.
Yeah.
They probably was rolling the dice and worked on his sentence before the trial even started, the way this thing looked.
Well, no doubt there were some conversations going on, but I'm glad it was. Again, we got two families that are now going to be tormented. One, because they lost their child to the prison system for a while. The other one because they lost their child forever. Two families are in mourning here.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm hearing things about the Metcalf boy being suspended and a week before this incident, and they finally went in on his character after this trial thing is over, but it wasn't a level playing field, and it didn't look right.
But kids have always done and always will do things that.
I agree.
Yeah,
but once again, Kevin, it wasn't a level playing field.
Okay.
I'll leave you with this. If that had been Zeke, would you have let him went to trial with a jury that looked like that? Even whether he did it or not, would you have? The question is, and it's a yes or no. Would you have stood idly by and watched Zeke, who's about that boy's same age, go to trial in an area where he had no representation?
I'm going to tell you that I will fight for whatever I think the best outcome should be with the conditions to bring about the best outcome. And I don't know.
That's not the answer. Would you have been comfortable? Let me put it this way: with Zeke sitting up in a trial that had that same setting? That's just yes or no.
Well, listen. I believe that people. Now listen to me though, and this is the honest God from my heart. I believe people who are intelligent can reach a verdict not based on the complexion of people's skin.
So you would have let Zeke set up in there?
I guess I would. If you did something like bad, does it make any difference who gives you the gas? Does it really make a difference?
It's not about the gas. It's about a fair opportunity. Okay. That's all I was just pointing out. Right. But okay, thank you for taking my call, bro.
I hope I never have to find that. Now he may have to come to my trial, but I don't think I'll ever have to come to his. So great. I just find it. I just find it. Let me see here. First Sergeant
Elkins.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what I wrote that caused Don to respond the way he did. In my remarks, if you look at I just asked you, did you feel the same way about Rittenhouse? Now, that was just a question.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is racist about that question?
Well, listen, some people see that life through one lens and one lens only. And
yeah, I just ask you because it seems like when you was making your commentary that you didn't have much compassion for the young man that was convicted. It appeared your comments like you didn't have compassion.
My compassion is seasoned with a little bit of bitterness that our young men are doing this stuff all over this country.
Okay, and so it seems like again, like you're about to say, we're causing these types of acts, and so it seems like you didn't have much compassion. And I just ask you, did you feel the same way about Rittenhouse?
Rittenhouse was protecting the property of other people, and you have a right.
Okay, that's what I wanted to go from, Kevin. So you're justified. This was a 17-year-old young man with an AR-15 that traveled from Illinois to Wisconsin. And you say he was protecting somebody else's property. He's not law enforcement. He was 17.
Right.
He came from Illinois to Wisconsin with an AR-15 and shot 3 people, killing 2 of them.
And they were trying to hurt him.
They were not trying to hurt him. The video, Kevin.
My understanding.
But again, you'll understand. But my thing is, he was 17 with an AR-15. He came from Illinois to Wisconsin during a riot, and he said he was protecting businesses.
Okay.
And you were okay with that? A 17-year-old with an AR-15.
Do 17-year-olds go to war?
Kevin.
We do.
So what you're saying, he was called up by the governor of Illinois or Wisconsin from Illinois?
Well, I don't know about all of that. But
he came from Illinois with an AR-17
but evidently
to Wisconsin.
It was legal to come, I guess.
It was not. But again, all I'm asking is, you didn't have much compassion for this young boy. And again, I'm not justifying what he did. My only question was, you appear to have more compassion for Rittenhouse than you did for this 18-year-old. Both of them are 17-year-old young males.
I had no compassion for Rittenhouse because I didn't really pay that much attention. But again, of course I am. I feel sorry for both families. And
that's what I'm asking. And that was my only question. So how Don got racism out of that? You appear to be condemning this 17-year-old black boy.
No.
But that's why I say you compare. And that's why I ask you. I didn't make any adjustments. I just ask you, did you feel the same way about both of them were 17-year-old young men?
Right.
Both of them did something that was horrific. But you appear to be condemning this black boy. But I didn't hear the same condemnation for Rittenhouse. You even started off defending him by saying he was protecting somebody else's property.
That's what he was doing.
He's 17 from Illinois. What business did he have in Wisconsin?
I hear you. Now, well, let me ask you. Evidently, the states or the federal government didn't have a problem with him. They did not convict him.
Well, you and I had this conversation yesterday, sir. You said somebody just got out that was 39 years old that was wrongly convicted. So sometimes we convict the innocent and sometimes we let the guilty go.
And we do. And we do.
So, but I'm just asking, there was nothing racist about my question to Don. I just asked you, did you have the same compassion or the same feeling for Rittenhouse that you had for this young black boy? Yeah. This was a 17-year-old white male that came from Illinois to Wisconsin with an AR-15 weapon. Say he was protecting businesses and shot 3 people and killed 2.
If him coming across state lines with a weapon was against the law, the feds would have got involved in that, wouldn't they? So evidently
I don't know. I just want to know, did you have the same compassion? And that's all I was asking.
Yeah. Well, okay.
And it seems to be that Rittenhouse, you was justifying he protecting businesses.
But he has a constitutional right to carry that weapon. Like in Alabama, you can be 17. Can you be 17 with a weapon around here?
Kevin, I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah.
He killed 2 people. Their families are grieving. And this other boy family is grieving. I say, if you're going to have compassion, be consistent. But you was almost condemning this black boy for the behavior that we tend to exhibit.
You know, Willie, and listen, and you may be right. I may be somewhat predatory.
Yeah,
I'm just tired of young black men doing this stuff.
And that's cathartic for you to say that. That's all I'm saying, sir, is because he was a black boy that did something horrific, you were condemning him. But that 17-year-old white boy that shot 3 people, killing 2, you begin to justify he coming across state line, protecting somebody else's property. Just be more compassionate to your own people.
Right. But listen. I didn't judge him. I didn't take him to trial.
No, but I'm just saying you was condemning him for his behavior.
But because every day, my friend, every day in America, every day in almost every city, almost every state, our young black men are killing each other.
They are. But Kevin, I still have compassion and mercy. Rittenhouse, he killed 2 people, injuring the 3rd. But you had compassion on him because he was protecting somebody's business. Well,
constitutionally, you have a right. You have a right to
don't justify what he did, sir. He's not law enforcement.
I'm not. Well, but guess what? The Constitution said it's a militia. If you can carry a gun, you can protect. You have a right to protect your neighbor's house.
I only ask you a question. Yeah. Did you feel the same way? And Don said Willie Durham race. If you're going to have compassion on this on this Rittenhouse, have compassion on this young man.
I never thought
they got 35 years.
Right. I never thought about Rittenhouse. I tell you, never have. Didn't happen here. He wasn't my child. He didn't look like my child.
Well, this didn't happen here. This happened in Texas, but you're making a statement about it.
Right. But it's there's something wrong with the culture. When this many black kids and young men,
and again, that's a different conversation. Yeah. If your boy stepped in it, I want people to have compassion and mercy on him. I'm not excusing it, but don't be so. I think critical of your own people. When Rittenhouse was a 17-year-old boy with an AR-15, crossed state line, killed 2 people, and you begin to justify his behavior.
But you do.
That's all I'm saying.
Right, but you do know I'm part of those people, my people.
Yeah, but don't be.
And so when my people look like me, do crazy things, some of that falls on me. I was going down the street one day in Montgomery, sitting in my car. Some young black men riding around got their pants all down, walking down the street. You know, the guy next to me started looking at me. He looked at them, and then he looked at me. I said, "They ain't my kids." But it falls on us.
Well, what about the positive? What about when we do something positive?
I love it.
So that's part of it, right?
Yeah, I love when I get positive.
Yeah, and so for Don, it wasn't a racist comment. I just asked you, did you feel the same way? That's all.
Right. And listen, that's a fair question. Fair question. I don't even remember. I didn't pay much attention to Rittenhouse.
You made a lot of commentary when it happened. You did because he traveled from Illinois to Wisconsin with an AR-15 and shot 3 people.
I would think that would be against the law, carrying a weapon across state.
Yeah.
And the feds, I thought the feds, I better look that up and see what he got.
Yeah. And that's all I was asking, sir. It wasn't anything about race. They were 17-year-old young men that made critical mistakes. One of them got 35 years. One of them was set free. Thank you.
Okay. And I'm going to find out why they set him free. Okay. So, because I don't know Rittenhouse. Because I don't really remember. I know that kid shot people. I thought he was set free because what he did was legal. Okay. I thought he was legal. All right, Don, this ain't going to be the callback Don day.
Well, let me help Reverend Willie out. First, he said, what did he say about race? Well, he just told you need to be compassionate about our own people. That sounds racist to me, don't it?
Well,
I missed something.
Well, I don't.
Let's talk about Rittenhouse since he wants to talk about Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse was chased by a crowd across the parking lot trying to get out from there. One guy attacked him and tried to take his gun away, and he got shot.
And that's what
Then he continued to run down the street. He fell down. Another guy was beating him in the head with a skateboard, and he shot that one. The next guy pointed a pistol at him, and Rittenhouse fired at him. So, Willie, get you damn straight. You're so racist, it's pathetic. Let's compare that to the Anthony thing. He takes a knife in a backpack into a room. He's not supposed to have a knife. You could say it's legal, but it ain't. No school will allow you to tote a knife. Can you name one that allows you to tote a knife?
Okay, then.
He went in there to cause problems, and he murdered a kid without a gun who asked him 16 times to leave a private tent. Willie, you're a bigot.
Okay, then. Kyle Rittenhouse was born January the 3rd, 2003. According to, and this is in Wikipedia, is an American man who gained national attention at the age of 17 for shooting 3 men in Kenosha, Wisconsin, 2 of them fatally, amid protests and riots in response to the police shooting of Jacob Blake in 2020. After joining a group of armed individuals who said they were protecting businesses against rioting, a series of confrontations occurred, during which Rittenhouse fatally shot 2 men who attempted to grab his gun and wounded another who pointed a handgun at him. He was charged with multiple counts, including homicide, by Kenosha County prosecutors, but was acquitted in November 2021. After a jury, okay, hold on a second, Dr. Joe. After a jury, okay, evidently found him, not guilty. I mean, so I think that's a whole different thing there than what happened in Kenosha than what happened in Texas. It just seemed like to me that, and they said that he acted in self-defense. So 2 civil lawsuits against him were pending as of last year. Rittenhouse's prosecution attracted national attention, and it did. Evidently, the jury there was a little different, I guess, but if you point a gun at a man's face and try to take his weapon, you're going to get shot. So that's all I can tell you. Dr. Joe.
Okay, let me go on and just start out by saying Willie Durham lied about that Rittenhouse was not defending his life. Like Don just said, the guy pointed a gun to him that he got his bicep blown off. He didn't kill that guy. The other guy tried to kill him with a skateboard, and the other guy was reaching for his gun, and if he'd have gotten his gun, guess what? He'd have probably died then. So that's the first thing. Second thing, they dropped the gun charge. Why do you think they dropped the gun charge? And by the way, the gun never crossed state lines. Gun never crossed state lines. So that's a lie. Okay. And for Willie Knight to sit there and say that it was a big racial thing, that he didn't get a fair trial and all that stuff. Every single witness, Kevin, the defense's witnesses, all said the same thing. Carmelo instigated it. And yeah. Did the other guy have anything like a gun or a knife on him? No. No.
But let me ask something. Rittenhouse was from Illinois. So how did he get? He did go.
Listen, he lived right there at the state line, and he kept the gun at whoever. He had a relative, a grandmother, somebody in that city in Wisconsin, and that's where the gun was.
Oh, okay, because I knew he was from someplace else. Okay, so he didn't cross state lines with a weapon. Okay, so he
didn't cross state line with a weapon, like you said. The feds would have been all up in his grill.
Yeah, they would have been. Okay. See that.
And listen, good luck with try. And I thought it was I thought it was a fair sentence. He can be eligible for parole after 17 years.
Yeah.
It's a fair sentence.
I thought it was a fair. I thought because they could have gave him the death penalty.
And listen, I'll even go on to say this: the kid was a good kid.
Yeah.
I mean, he just made a really bad decision.
Yeah.
When you want to come up gangster, you pick the wrong spot to be gangster. Don't you agree?
Yeah. Because in Texas, everybody a gangster.
Yeah. And to say that you need to have a change of venue, I don't go with that. I don't go with that. And by the way, like you said, Greg Gunn's trial was moved, and a white jury convicted Greg Gunn, didn't they, Kevin?
You talking about the convicted Cody?
Cody, what's his face?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there you go.
I'm actually trying to get him on to have a conversation about that thing.
But Willie Durham just flat out told a lie.
I don't know if he lied, but he may have been mistaken.
No, he did tell a lie. He said he wasn't trying to defend himself. The guy pointed a damn gun at him.
Yeah, he did. According to
the guy hit him, and the other guy kicked him in the head.
Yeah.
What do you think should have happened?
And I know I'd heard something about that, and that's why I didn't really worry about him shooting the guy. You try to kick me in the head, you're how to hurt me. I'm gonna hurt you.
Yeah, he's on the ground, and the guy's trying to kick him in the head, and there's a whole mob around him.
Yeah.
What do you think's gonna happen, Willie? Get your head out of your ass and then stick to the facts, man.
Yeah.
Bye.
All righty then. Yeah. I knew he was trying to defend himself some kind of way. I just didn't know. And evidently, because he's from Illinois, but the gun was in Wisconsin, and he didn't go across state lines. So I had that part wrong. Yes, there, Pastor Knight.
Hey, real quick. I just want to was that Dr. That wasn't Dr. Joe, was it?
Yeah, that was Dr. Joe.
Okay, number one, he's partially right, and he only heard a portion of what I said. When we were talking about Aaron Cody being convicted, he's right. It was an all-white jury, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was a jury of his peers, guy. It was a jury of his peers.
But what does that mean?
It was a jury of his peers.
Right, but tell me what same country?
That's what he was entitled to. That's a part of his constitutional right.
But legally, what is a
jury? His constitutional right was not violated, Kevin. Let me straighten out this crap that Joe just said.
Mm-hmm.
He was judged by his peers. The playing field was leveled. That's why people couldn't say nothing. We couldn't. It was nothing to complain about. He was convicted by his peers. I'm going to say it again. He was convicted by his peers. They had to change the venue. Just like we knew that Carmelo wasn't going to get a fair trial.
Well, let me tell you what the legal definition of jury of peers means. A jury of your peers means a trial by an impartial group of fellow citizens representing a fair cross-section of the community, not necessarily people identical to the defendant in background or status.
Let me ask you, did that look fair?
I
stop right there. You can't even give me anytime. You can't give me a yes or no answer because I know when dealing with you, I ask you questions where you can't say nothing but yes or no. So anytime you deviate from one of the two, you finna butter it up. But I want to move on to the next thing.
Okay.
We're not fussing about the verdict. We're fussing about the playing field. And I mean, it can't get no simpler than that. Aaron Cody's character was assassinated before the trial, just like Carmelo Anthony's character was assassinated before the trial. Ain't no getting over that. Ain't no getting, whatever crap y'all want to say about Ritterhouse, I don't care if he stayed near the state line. Somebody took a child to a riot, or to where they knew the folks was acting a fool. He was 17, right? You just read where they said Ritterhouse was 17, right?
At the time, right.
Right. He's a child. So what responsible adult, because I sure as hell wouldn't take my 17-year-old to no riot to protect. What that protect? Like Mr. Durham said, he ain't law enforcement. There was really no need for him to be in that area.
But he is a citizen. As a citizen,
man, Kevin, cut the crap. He's not. He doesn't have a badge, and he's a child.
Why do we have the Second Amendment?
No, he was a child. He was a child. You can stop right there. Stop trying to justify stupid stuff because it make you look bad. That was a child with a doggone AR-15. Get out of here.
And again, soldiers 17 years old go to war.
He ain't no soldier. He was a child, probably fresh out of high school or something. He was a child, 17. We're going to stop right there. It ain't nowhere we could have been. No, he was a child. And his unfit parent took him to a doggone protest. You knew they went over there choir rehearsal, You know, they went over there singing the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you take your child to an environment like that?
Well,
Because you probably unfit yourself. But back to the Carmelo, once again, hear me good. It's not the verdict. It was the playing field. It was the mere fact that his constitutional right was violated. He didn't have a jury of his peers. His name was assassinated before the trial even started.
I hear you.
You can't get around that. We cannot get around that.
Okay.
But that's all. All right.
All right. Appreciate you. Appreciate it. And again, this is but the Rittenhouse thing, we got a lot of things wrong about that. This guy did, and again, a jury of your peers, according to the law, the phrase refers to a defendant's constitutional right to be tried by a jury composed of fellow citizens who reflect the community where the trial occurred. So it doesn't have to be the same color and all that stuff. It's got to be, but by citizens who live in the community. What's up, bud?
Good morning, Kevin, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Let me ask you a question, a couple of questions here.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they pull up Kyle Rittenhouse?
Well, I guess people were because he was 17 when he was defending. Defending himself. He didn't murder anybody. He was defending himself.
Let me ask you this: there are multiple videos where Rittenhouse fled from a riot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could show it to you 3 seconds from now. He ran away, and people came after him. Who did he shoot? He shot 3 people that morning. Once he was finally hit in the head with a skateboard and accosted.
Yeah.
He killed 2. What were they? They were convicted felon pedophiles. They were not allowed to have weapons, but yes, they had weapons on them. So if you want to compare Rittenhouse being chased on videos through alleys and accosted by convicted felons, convicted pedophiles, do they want to compare Anthony that was convicted yesterday to somebody that was fleeing convicted pedophiles, convicted felons? Is that truly what your callers want to compare him to? Who looks better? Somebody defending themselves against convicted pedophiles?
Right. Obviously, the Rittenhouse thing was a whole lot different than what happened with Carmelo Anthony.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if I get upset about it, sometimes I do, because too many of our young men are engaged in that type of activity in this country right now. And I
agree.
I just don't know what to do about it. I just thank God my kids, my boys are not.
And they're good young men. I met all of them. Yeah. I mean, they are darn good young men, and you should be proud. Yeah. Absolutely. So let's take Rittenhouse off the table right now, unless they want to say Anthony that was committed yesterday is equivalent to being accosted by convicted pedophiles. And I'll ask everybody else that wants to disagree with that, come on your show right now and disagree and give me why they would disagree. Yeah. Now, with that being said, you know what? One of the biggest things in the trial was when the defense lawyer of Anthony said, Austin actually impaled himself on the knife. Did you see that? Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that one. No.
Did you? You did not.
No.
Oh, wow. Okay. His defense lawyer said on the same day that his client was convicted, he said, and I'm not giving it verbatim. He said, I guess my client, he did have a knife in his backpack, and his knife was open, and his hand was on his knife, and his client just happened to pull it out, and then Austin ran against it and impaled himself and thrust my client's knife into his heart. That's basically what he said. And what happened? the folks in the audience the jurors gasped that the defense lawyer would say, Austin impaled himself on your client's knife?
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, when have you ever ran up against a knife?
Never.
And trying to impale your body?
I'm trying to get
on
the
a
hell away
weapon?
from. I'm trying to get the hell away from the knife. Not
Thank you.
Not trying to run up on it. Again, it's a terrible thing.
I agree.
You're like, two families are hurting this morning. Two.
I agree. Again, I absolutely agree. And what did we hear out of yesterday during the punishment situation? And I call him Tarantula Head.
Yeah.
And he said the prosecutor during the punishment stage asked his mother, can you still continue a relationship with your son in jail? Unlike Austin's family, because they're dead he's dead in the grave.
Yeah. Well, I thought he was going to get worse. So, it's a shame, but you know what? In my lifetime, I put myself in a position sometimes that's absolutely stupid. And once I did it, then all I could do was look in the mirror and say, well, it's my fault.
And that's absolutely right. I used to say, it's called, my dad used to tell me all the time, don't slam your dick in the door, okay?
Yeah, that's true.
And that's exactly what happened with him yesterday, a year ago. No, when you go in 2 and 10, let me think about this. The defense called 2 witnesses, and both of those witnesses said, yeah, Anthony was the aggressor. When you go under a tent and you have a backpack and you have a knife in it and you already have the knife open and you have a knife, your hand on the knife, and you threaten somebody, why would you do that? By the way, Anthony also had on his Facebook a picture of himself with an AK-47.
I saw that picture too, and that's certainly.
Why would you do that? I mean,
yeah, that didn't help the image at all.
He was, and I go back on this, and my wife and I were talking just last night. At that age, I was a friend of my son and my daughter on Facebook. If I saw my son with an AK-47,
I'd be in that room.
You don't think I'd been in his ass?
Yeah, I've been in that room in a heartbeat. Where's that gun at? And
exactly.
If it's not here, then you don't need to hang around anybody. If I catch you hanging around anybody like that again, you in some serious trouble. So yeah, I being on Facebook, and I tell people, I was telling somebody that the other day, you know why the police are so scared of our young men today? You got them on Facebook with AK-47s and MAC-10s and 9mm and Berettas, and we know they'll use them because they use them every day. No one is scared of them.
And so to me, this family raised $700,000 on the GoFundMe account.
Yeah.
And they bought Escalades. They bought a house in a gated community. They bought all this other stuff.
Could have spent it on a better
instead
lawyer.
Of getting a grade A lawyer.
But I don't think any lawyer would have got him off.
I agree. I agree because he's guilty of homemade sin.
Yeah. Buying a new house may not have been a worse thing they could do with the money instead of giving it to a
lawyer.
But
you could have been able to plead down with a good lawyer.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think they gave him the same thing they would have gave him if it had been manslaughter. I mean, the bottom line is that
good lawyer could have pled down to manslaughter.
Yeah. Well, but he didn't. He did not. Listen, I think he got a. Listen, I thought they were going to give him the death penalty because that was on.
I don't know if that was on the table in Texas.
Yeah.
It wasn't first degree murder. Yeah. It was not premeditated murder, but. I think it's pretty obvious. He went there looking to not back down, or even all the witnesses, his defense witnesses, he was aggressive. So,
yeah.
I mean, it was like, was he looking for a fight? I don't know. I don't understand that.
We had a young man. I forgot the word that they use. Machismo.
Okay.
Trying to be big dog.
A macho man.
Yeah, a macho man. And
HMFIC. You know what that means, right? HMFIC.
Oh yeah.
I can say it. You're not on the head motherfucker in charge.
Yeah. I know this.
That's what he was trying to be.
Yeah.
Well, he ain't going to be that in the Texas jail, is he?
No, but again, it's still sad either way it goes.
I agree. Absolutely. Somebody lost a child, and somebody's now going to lose a child for the next 35 years in jail.
Somebody's going to give the rest of his childhood up to.
And that is so sad.
Running from Big John into prison. And
again, that goes back again to the parents.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you.
To a point.
But at 17, that
you're an adult.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. You know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, they'll put that to the parents. And being on Facebook with AK-47s and stuff like that, Sterling didn't.
I know. That sunk him.
Yeah. That
showed you're a thug. I hate to put it that way, but you're a thug.
Yeah. All right. Hey, appreciate it. All right, gotta take a break. We'll be back. Uno momento. It is break time. I have to go get a cup of milk. Okay. B-R-E-A. Okay. I know, guys. I can't take it. Don, we heard enough from you today, my friend. I love you, but enough is enough. Now I got to go take a break in a few minutes here. So back in 3 minutes. So y'all hang loose there, and we shall return uno momento. Okay, that's my Spanish way of putting it. Okay, back in 3 minutes. Okay, so hang loose. We'll be right back in 3 minutes. I gotta go get my milk. Okay, I just gotta to have the milk. Okay. I'm so tired of Sprite without sugar. I don't know what to do. Back to milk. We'll be back.
You are still here, time to get busy living. Get up. You are still here, time to get busy living. Get up. You are still here, time to get busy living. Get up. You are still here, time to get busy living. Get up. You are still here, time to get busy living. Get up. You are still here, time to get busy living. Get up. You are still here, time to get busy living. Get up. You are still here, time to get busy living. Get up. You are still here, time to get busy living. Get up. You are still here, time to get busy living. You are still here, time to get busy living. You are still here, time to get busy living.
Oh, Lordy. There's one thing that's been missing out of this whole conversation. Anybody know what that is? Obviously, who's smart as I am out there. The one main thing that has been missing out of this conversation since this happened. Anybody know what main thing that one main thing is? it is a very most important part of this conversation. So anybody know what's been missing in this whole conversation? It's something that I complain about all the time. Okay. We lost another $20 million aircraft. Well, hey, listen, that's what happens when you go to war. Okay. Say his name, Austin. I'm with you. But what's been missing from this conversation? And it's one of the reasons why. There's one of the reasons why we have this carnage going on in our communities. Anybody know what's missing out of this conversation? And it hasn't come up one time. Because we become so used to it. So used to fathers and dads not being there. Okay? Until and we are suffering in our communities because fathers are not taking responsibility for their sons in any kind of shape, form, or fashion. I haven't heard anything about this guy's dad. Where's the dad at? Where's he at? God bless the mothers who do what they do, but they half responsible for this crap too. They pick the guys, okay? Some men ain't husbands. That don't mean they still ain't a dad. I kind of sucked as a husband, actually. But they still have, every child that has ever been born has a father. Every last one of them. But the dad part comes from when there's a relationship between the father and the child. We have not heard anything about his father. He had to have one because he's here. And no matter what the idiots called themselves transgenders, where's Metcalf? Well, I would imagine, I don't know, Metcalf didn't kill anybody. I hear you, but Metcalf didn't kill anybody. And as far as I haven't seen any pictures on the internet with him with AK-47s. I've seen it, Don, y'all have to get to your own podcast.
Let me just get this since you made that statement. Metcalf's father gave a press conference.
Oh, okay.
And forgave Carmelo Anthony. And he said, this is not about race. And then Anthony's black, whatever he was, showed up there and tried to make a scene at the thing. But don't say Metcalf's father wasn't involved. He begged it not be about race, and he said he forgave Anthony. So, and let me get this with our constitutional genius. Are we supposed to have all white juries, all black juries, all Asian juries, all brown juries, and then maybe all transsexual juries? What's the ruling on the Constitution on that?
Yeah, well, you can't have.
He had a lawyer. Did his lawyer his lawyer participated in what they call voir dire. That's where you pick the jury.
Mm-hmm.
He was involved in that. Did he ever file a complaint that the jury was all white with anybody? Did he?
I think
like you say, he got almost $1 million. He bought a home and a car. Well,
that seemed not to be such a bad choice after all, since he ain't going to be there.
The only thing they did wrong was they should have copped a plea deal. He was completely guilty.
Yeah.
They should have pleaded out the thing, but they were making money off of it. They used the black people around. You want to talk about the black people around Carmelo Anthony used him. As long as they could keep it in the courts and stuff, they could keep begging for money. They just recently begged for another $1 billion. What they going to spend that on? An airplane?
Well, I don't know.
But I want that constitutional genius. So the guy that shot the sheriff should have an all-white jury. Is that what he's saying?
No, I don't think.
Why did they move it to a black county?
Got me. I don't know.
I mean, it's not constitutional according to him.
Yeah. All right. Hey, I hear you. Yeah, it's so evidently, because I've never seen a picture of his dad. So evidently, Mr. Metcalf's father is involved in his life and he's there. Again, you hear anything from Carmelo Anthony's father? So I guess he's I guess his dad's not in the picture. I guess I don't know. You know, which is the sad story around too many communities in America. Good morning, Mr. Joe.
Well, Kevin, good morning. I think I'm listening to pretty much everybody this morning. Lawyers, when they're thinking of defenses, look at a lot of things outside of what they think the facts are actually going to show. They look at what their witnesses are going to say, how they will hold up, are they convincing or not. And so these things go through lawyers' minds, so it's a strategy. I mean, I probably would have, if you're going to run a self-defense strategy, I think you got to have the defendant testify. I don't think you can do it without that, because jurors ultimately want to hear that person say their version of the facts. Now, constitutionally, you don't have to, but you should do that. And I, raised my eyebrow in terms of why they didn't do it. I thought for sure that's what was going to happen, but I don't think, when we talked about yesterday, I don't think self-defense was going to help him. I don't think it was ever in play, because if you've got, even if someone's coming at you, if someone even provokes you, you start from the premise that it is unlawful to kill people in this first. The only legal justification for killing anybody is self-defense or wartime. That's it. I mean, you cannot preemptively strike to kill people. And you can defend others, your children, parents, stuff like that. There's, self-defense and self-defense of others with a special relationship. But you can't do it. And I just never saw that. I don't know. I think the Texas's history of justice is why people will make things, inject racial elements into things where they really probably don't belong. It's because of Texas's history. And Texas has a conservative history. It's got a very wide open history of blatant racism in selecting juries. I'm not saying that I don't think that happened here. If people, in voir dire told, a judge, and I've had it happen to me. There are some people who sit there and say, look, the Bible says, judge not and thou shalt not be judged. Or vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And they say they can't sit on juries. I've heard that a bunch of times. I've also heard people say, look, I can't find this person guilty. I know too much. So there's a lot of things in the voir dire we're not going to know in terms of how that jury was made up the way it was. But, I didn't see any racial element into it. Now, I think what some of the callers are saying is that a Kyle Rittenhouse, 17 years old, who injects himself into a riot, which is not illegal, stupid, but not illegal, is given every benefit of the doubt, He's given every benefit of the doubt that could possibly help him. I mean, even I think Bud, who just called in, said that, Carmelo was thug because he had an AK-47. Well, by definition, that has to mean Rittenhouse is one. But we didn't hear him say that.
Rittenhouse didn't go out and
that's not what he said. Okay, so what he said he was a thug for having it, and that's what he said, Kevin. So I'm saying that's the definition. I'm not saying what he meant. Well,
on Facebook, showing it. Well, he's on Facebook with all these, him and his buddies with all these guns.
And Rittenhouse was not.
I don't know. It was Rittenhouse. Did they show?
Yes, he was doing the same thing.
Okay,
his pose with guns. Okay. Not smart, but I'm saying. You can't, these are the subtleties I think that some of the other callers get a little prickly about, But perhaps, Carmelo can get the attorney general, whoever it is in Texas, to let him out after 18 months, like our attorney general let out Corey, who killed Greg Gunn, after 18 months in prison. And he can get on a commercial and talk about that the next attorney general ought to be elected and who that ought to be for fighting for him. So it's a little different here, all right? Because I've never seen our attorney general advocate for any person convicted of killing somebody else and let them out after 18 months. I've never seen that.
Let me ask you, you don't believe, and again, I'm just putting forth the question.
So maybe Carmelo will get out for 18 months.
But let me ask you a question about the whole Cody Smith thing, Greg Gunn thing. You don't believe, or do you believe, or is it possible that the politics, a
lot of things in there.
That's true. The politics of the time, you had the guy who killed in Minnesota. You had this. You don't think that played a heavy toll on the gun case?
What I think the answer is yes. That's a period behind that. Now, I think that had some things to do with it, but I know the DA, I know Darrell Bailey, and I've watched Darrell prosecute lots of cases. I've been on 99% of the time I was on the other side of Daryl. So I watched him bring cases. Daryl's a lot of integrity. And if Daryl thinks it's something, one thing, if he believed it, he thought you were wrong, he brought it. Now, if a jury lets you go, that was the jury's business. But if he thought you were wrong, he brought it. And Daryl took a lot of flack for that because the police and law enforcement believes that the DA's office represents them. That's a tragic flaw and mistake, but they believe that. So they called him and all kind of names and said all kinds of things.
Right.
I disagree with the Supreme Court removing that case out of Montgomery. I didn't agree with that because it's so hard to get a change of venue, Kevin. Those cases are so rare, so rare, but they did. And there was one dissent in that case. And they said because Judge Griffin said that he didn't believe Cody's version of the facts because of what was presented, which obviously if he denies your stand your ground motion, of course he doesn't believe that. But the fact that he said it, that was the reason. I didn't agree with that at all by the court. I thought there was a gotcha moment to move the case. And I think Judge Mendham in the dissent agreed with Judge Griffin, but the other judges did it. Fine. So it moves out of Montgomery. Okay. We're getting your peers, but now it's down in Dothan, the Wiregrass. Totally different makeup of the jury.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, that jury heard those same facts. It would have been a different racial makeup, but they convicted him. Okay? They did it. And so I think people can see things that are actually there, whether you're black or whether you're white.
Yeah.
Black folks are more like crime and killing than white folks. I hadn't met any black or white crime victim or juror who said, yeah, that's a great idea. I'm all for this. I never met one. Mm-hmm. Whether the defendant's white or black, whatever it is.
I do believe though we had a culture at that time that was intimidating to black and white people, pulling people out of their cars on freeways, burning down buildings in the name of George Floyd, in the name of other things. I mean, I think a lot of these people were scared. And they did the best thing that was most expedient to try to make sure that their community didn't burn to the ground.
Well, I don't think the Wiregrass had to worry about that because that person wasn't from their community, so they have to worry about that. Or the other half of the question is, he did what they said he did. Daryl was right. Okay, Daryl was right. He did it. They found him guilty, and that was that. And the AG let him out after serving 18 months for murder.
But again, we found a guy 39 years in jail the other day. They said he was guilty too. 39 years.
Well, it depends on life. Yeah, it depends on. Look, I'm not saying everybody the same sentence did it. There are always factual nuances, Kevin, to things. You got witness testimony, you got DNA, you got video, you got so many things that factor in. Juries get it far more right than they get it wrong. Okay?
And it don't matter unless it's you that getting it wrong on.
Well, no, it matters to anybody who cares about justice. It matters. It matters to me because I'm trying to get it right every time because it's terrible if you deprive somebody of their freedom. One thing about money. You lose $5, somebody give you $5. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
You lose 5 years of your life. Who can give that back to you?
Nobody can. I just
nobody. So our system, time and freedom is something different.
Yeah, I mean, our system is not a perfect system. I guess it's one of the best in the world, but we are not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. So
I think it's the best in the world because of what again. There's a process. I mean, one of the other callers was right. There were lawyers who sat there doing voir dire. They got to select their jury. Okay. They chose it. They did. They participated fully. And you're right. You're not entitled to have a jury of all blacks, all whites, all Asians. You're not entitled to do that. Now, there was a time where certain people were prohibited from being on a jury, which gave you an all white, all male jury, particularly in the South. And there are lots of people who were convicted erroneously for that. The Scottsboro Boys being one famous group of those folks, but it's been a bunch of folks who that happened to because that was the system.
And how do we reconcile that? How do we reconcile when and who's the guy that John Knight and them helped get out of prison? Had been in there on death row for years. I forgot his name, but
I don't think it's just one person like that.
But should not the state financially be liable for those kind of things because you're the one with the system, you're the one got access to all the resources, and you still can't get it right? I think the state, there ought to be a fund in the state where these people are at least financial. And I'm going back to the Whitehurst thing. They still hadn't given that family anything. So,
well, let me answer your first question. I think where prosecutors and/or police officers fail to disclose exculpatory evidence, okay, and do things like that, okay. I think they're government agents. They work for the government. The government ought to 100% absolutely be paid for that, because that's government. Government ought to be involved in that. Now, I think where simply the jury just makes a mistake because of who they believe, that they didn't believe. You kill someone, you claim self-defense. Well, Kevin came at me and tried to choke me, and that's why I shot Kevin 18 times. Okay, well, somebody may not believe that. Hey, now, when the jury does that, then that's something different.
Let me ask you a question.
I don't think the government ought to be responsible for it.
Let me ask you a question. If somebody shoots you one time and you're dead, or shoot you 18 times and you're dead, isn't the whole aim of shooting people is to neutralize the threat?
Yes.
And whether it's 18 times or one time, don't come at me and you don't have to worry about it.
You're right. I mean, you're right. It doesn't matter. That's stuff that is brought in on both sides a lot of times, and different what kind of case you've got. That's brought in. It's just as a matter of fact, if it happened, and a jury can decide what they want to do with that. But I think most jurors get what you just said, Kevin, whether it's once or twice. That doesn't, multiple stab wounds, depending on the factual situation, that may tell you one thing or another. But these are all fact specific and fact sensitive things. You just kind of got to wait until they happen.
Right.
But I don't. With 17-year-old kids and the gun culture America has, and the culture of violence, and of course this was a gun, this was a knife. It's hard to justify this. It's going to be it's very hard. So you can't kill. I mean, people have to understand this. It is illegal to take someone else's life. Period.
Yeah.
Illegal.
Outside of self-defense. And war.
And people no matter how many times we say this, people still do what they do.
And even in war, you can get brought up for murder if you didn't kill them the right way.
Well, right, you just can't walk into a band of civilians and open fire.
Right. So
you can't. I don't think you do it with surrendering troops either. I think you can't do that.
No, you can't do that.
That's got to be a combat situation.
At least we don't do it. I've heard, especially during the Nazis. I mean, they ain't help you had all four hands up. That's why they were such an evil scourge upon earth in the 1940s. They were just terrible.
And people are going to, and in a war, people are going to decide which things they're going to move on and which things they're not. But when we're not at war, when we're in peacetime, when we're in this country, there's got to be a civilized way to do these things. But I think, like I said, we've got a lot of healing that we're going to have to do in this country, because everything, it's not about race. Everything is not. But we've had so much of it, Kevin. There's been so much. There's been so many nuances where somebody's thumb has been on a scale. Okay. And again, I'll come back to the police officer and the attorney general. I'll come back to that. There's certainly a thumb on a scale with that. How many convicted murderers end up in somebody's political ad? And he was no victim. He was way out of line.
Well,
he was way out of line. He was way out of line.
I don't think we'll ever really know.
This is what pisses people. This is what if you want to know what people are sensitive about the issue is that let me know when this attorney general or any other attorney general, okay, defends a black cop or any black person for killing somebody white under similar circumstances. I'll be identical under similar circumstances. Wait till I'm trying to find out where that's happened. Okay. Because I know it ain't happening in Alabama. I haven't seen our attorney general. I mean, I'm at the parole board quite often. The attorney generals, I attend the attorney generals down there every day. Their representative, making sure people don't get out. But this guy gets out, and now he's on a commercial. I mean, you're glorifying it. I get people online talking about how Derek Chauvin. We all know what he did, and I don't care. There's a stupid ad on Facebook. I call it a stupid ad. Because just because you've been to prison, just because you've committed crimes, you're still a human being. You still have rights in this country, and you don't have the right to be mistreated. You don't have the right to be mistreated. You don't have the right to be simply because you've been to prison, you committed a crime, you're out now. That doesn't give anybody the right just to dog you out. No one can put their knee on your neck and choke you out until you wet yourself and cry for your mom and die, and then have the unmitigated gall to say, well, that's not what killed them. Heart failure did. Shit, we all die from heart failure. All of us do.
Yeah.
But if I put a gun to your head and pull the trigger and kill you, heart failure ain't what caused it. It was the gun to your head that did it.
Yeah.
That's a result of me pulling. Your heart failure is a result of me pulling that gun. So it's disingenuous arguments like this that people see too often. And it comes too often coming from people who want to have more integrity.
But again,
right.
And I think, but again, the one thing that was missing in this whole thing, and where is that boy's father at? That's our biggest problem.
I don't know. I hear you. I don't know. I don't know anything about the boy's dad. I don't know if he's good. I don't know if he's bad. We don't know if he's better off without it.
But well, you can't never.
You don't know that.
You can't never be better off without your dad.
Yeah, but it depends on what kind of dad you got.
What kind of relationship you have. Yeah, I got. It's better to have a
the
half
dad was
one
abusive to the boy.
Yeah.
Let's say let's hypothesize this. This is hypothetical because I don't know. What if the dad was abusive to the boy?
Well, again, he's still a dad. He's still his dad. That doesn't make him not the dad.
Wait, hold on. No. So it's okay. You're telling me it's okay for a girl whose father sexually abuses her.
Well, of course.
For her to be in the house with him.
Of course not. Of course not.
Okay, then. That's what I'm saying. So we don't know what kind of dad. I know you know better than that.
Then there's a hell of a lot of dads out there sexually abusing people, nigga. We can't find that.
Well, I'm not saying they were. I'm saying depending on the dad and the situation, it may not be.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, these are the dynamics of human relationships, and that people just don't get along with each other forever. They just don't. But I don't think the dad. I don't think at 17 years old.
Yeah, I mean, by this time he's already grown, right? But at 17 years old, he's probably grown. But I got to tell you, I think anyway. Let me take this one. I got this one. There's one thing I want to show today. You know, back in when Clarence Thomas was put on the Supreme Court, was nominated for the Supreme Court, I feel his pain when he said, if you had to, okay, Don, we'll talk to you tomorrow, Don. We got to talk to you tomorrow, because when he was being vetted for the Supreme Court, he made some interesting statements about being black and not thinking the way a lot of black folks think. And for the young folks, Don, we done. Now, don't make me I just cut off the thing. We good. And this is some of the things that he said that is still true today. And I just want to share this with you before we call it a day. Because this is interesting thing. This is why I like the guy. This is why I liked him. Okay. Go ahead, Judge, and take it away. Do we get it?
To have different ideas. And it is a message that unless you kowtow to an old order, this is what will happen to you. You will.
Now, basically, what he was talking about, all the lies they were telling on him in all of these advertisements they were putting out about him, about his character and all that stuff. Because if you're black, you're supposed to think like all other black folks. Okay, you're supposed to do that. Okay, go ahead.
The high-tech lynching for uppity blacks who in any way deign to think for themselves, to do for themselves, to have different ideas. And it is a message that unless you kowtow to an old order, this is what will happen to you. You will be lynched, destroyed, caricatured by a committee of the U.S. Senate rather than hung from a tree.
Whoa. Rather than, and there's Biden.
It's a high-tech lynching.
I thought that was so profound. Rather than hung from a tree, you get lynched figuratively rather than literally by the U.S. Senate, especially by black folks in House, if you don't think the way they do. And that atmosphere still exists today. It still exists today. when I mentioned that I was going to run for this seat if it becomes available, well, you ain't black. You don't. Yeah, I'm black. I've been black alone than most of y'all. I just don't think the way you think. And so in America today, in our places, we supposed to all think the same. I know. Listen, why did I think you believe? Yeah, and again, my problem. That's an overkill. That ain't overkill. Anyway, listen, my time is up, and we got to be gone. But I got to hit that one more time.
For uppity blacks who in any way deign to think for high-tech lynching, for uppity blacks who in any way deign to think for themselves.
I like his glasses too.
To do for themselves, to have different ideas. And it is a message that unless you kowtow to an old order, this is what will happen to you. You will be lynched, destroyed, caricatured by a committee of the U.S. Senate rather than hung from a tree.
Oh, so true, so true. Anyway, listen, my time is up. I thank you for yours, and we can talk about that later on. One of these days, but I don't know where this thing came from that all black folks got to think the same. I don't know where that came from. Well, who came up with that idea? All white people don't think the same. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't, if it were not for, I lost my thought there. Me and Trump getting the same thing. But again, if it were not for white people, there wouldn't be a Democratic Party. So don't ever think shows go by too fast. Don't ever think that you're part of that party because you vote for them. Like Carl, who's a comedian? He said they're both one big party and you ain't in it, and you ain't been invited to it. All we are until 5 days before the vote and 1 day after the vote. You are the most insignificant people that there is, whether you're Democrat or Republican, because always remember, these parties are not public. They are private parties, have nothing to do with you. The only thing you get to do is help furnish their elections, but you don't get to make decisions. You don't get to make a decision about who represents you. They have a selection for your election. Okay. And that's it. Anyway, time for me to get out of here today. Right now, time to go. So I do appreciate you guys stopping by. You realize yeah, I know who you were talking, but it was. I realized that, John. But it was a bunch of black folks when he was trying to get on there. They kept talking about he's a sellout, this and a sellout, because he dared to think differently. He dared to think differently, not the same. He dared to blame white folks for everything. They got some blame, though. Don't get me wrong, that culture. But he dared to say, no, you some of this stuff you have to do for yourself. And 9 times out of 10, myself included, if you look back on your life, you can probably see, if you look in the mirror, you can probably see who's responsible for at least 70 to 80% of your problems. Yeah, and Joe Biden. Do you see old Joe right there at the end? Yeah, okay then. But anyway, Joe was trying to keep his black constituency, so he went along with the mob against Clarence Thomas. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. That's just the way it goes. Anyway, anybody got joy, shout joy. Joy. I wake up every morning joy as I wake up. You're absolutely right. Anyway, my time's up. I thank you for yours. I got to get out of here. And remember, it is not the falling that gives us the strength. It is the getting up each time we fall. In the quiet of the moon. Let me give you this, a different perspective on the mountains in your life. The mountains in your life are not impediments. They are exercise for the climb. See you later. Have a good day.
Thank you, Lord, for every breath I take, for the love that heals and the joy you make in the tapestry of life. I see your grace, every moment filled with your warm embrace.